Growth of any organization is built on two legs, one being the acquisition of new clients, and the second one being the retention of the existing clients. What I've noticed very often is that in most of the organization, the acquisition of new clients gets most of the action, most of the focus, most of the resources. Wherein the second leg, which is the retention, gets more of intentions and good thinking and good wishing, goodwill, but not so much of action in a very structured way. Hi, this is Shweta here, and today I want to share with you that structure which can translate your intention into action, which can help you have something measurable through which you can manage the retention of your accounts, and not just that, but actively grow those accounts. And trust me, in these times, it's absolutely critical. So I want you to pay attention to it. And please remember, what I'm sharing with you is literally a working sheet, which was developed in one of my sessions with my client who actually raised this point. And he was talking about all the ideas which he's already thinking of, which is like, should we be doing surveys? What should happen with the personal notes, the events, the meetings, all that stuff. But again, as I said, how do we measure it? How do we structure it so it's actually progressing? Okay, so let me bring it up on the screen and I will then take you through the model. So I had shared the base model with the client, and then we actually adapted it for this particular organization. All right, so I hope you can see that on my screen now. So let's pay attention to the headings. It's a simple grid. What we did was we looked at the top 20% of the clients which were contributing to 80% of the revenue, right? So Pareto's rule, 80-20, do that for your organization too, or for your department. In this case, I'm just showing you an example of 10 clients. And obviously I have not given you the names from confidentiality point of view. So you write down the name of the manager or the account person who's taking care of that particular client. Now, just to make sure we're not getting confused, I will call, the organization which is trying to improve the retention as, say, organization ABC. Okay, that's the name of the company. And they are now trying to improve the retention of their clients. So this is the list of clients of this organization ABC. And here we are saying number of contacts in clients organization, as in this organization ABC, how many of their people have contacts in their clients organizations, and how many people do they know in this organization, right? So even if it's one person in this organization ABC, how many of the contacts this one person has in their clients organization? This is just the reverse. How many of their clients have contacts in this organization ABC? Do they just know one person in organization ABC, or is it more than that? Because more people they know, there are more routes, there is better strengthening of the relationship, and therefore obviously it impacts the retention. Then in this case, what's relevant here is the meeting in the last 6 months. And there's a kind of a benchmark of saying, ideally, we should have at least 2 meetings over the last 6 months. Anything less than that is not optimal. This was another important point, which is the level of senior most decision makers. So the contacts in the client's business, are they at junior level, which gets a score of 0, if it's 1, which is middle management, and 2, if they're at director level or really senior level. Also in this, we said, fine, here we need to have systematic, quarterly surveys. And therefore, this is the score from the last survey saying on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did the client rate organization ABC? And anything which is not more than 8, which is 8.5 onwards or whatever, has to be taken as 0. So what I mean by that, I will explain. So there is this then consolidated score that was created, and you will see it's written maximum 6 points in this, right? So I will try to show you the formula. This is the formula. Now what it means is that if this section, which is the number of contacts in client's organization, is just 1, then you get, in this case, the score will be 0, right? If the number of contacts client has in this organization ABC, if it's more than 1, then they get a score, otherwise it's 0. Here, meetings in the last 6 months, as you will see, I will just show you the score. It says it should be at least more than 1, which means only if they've had 2 meetings or more that they get a point here. And level of senior most decision maker, that gets added. So if it's number 2, which is the senior most, then they will get score of 2. So the maximum score here is 2. And again, if they get more than 8, then they get a 1 point. So you get 1 point here, 1 point, 1 point potential, 2 point potential, and 1 point here. So the maximum is 6. Now, as each account is being mapped, we can see, okay, fine, in this case, organization ABC only has one contact in the client's business, and the client also knows just one person in organization ABC, which means they get 0 point here, 0 point here, and meetings in the last 6 months, they've not had any meetings, which is again 0 point, but the contact which we have, it's at the highest level. So number 2, because that's the senior most level. And in this case, the business was rated as 8. So again, they get 0 point here, which means they only get the score for this, which is 2 points, right? So you do this exercise for each account. It's quite straightforward. Let's have a look at client number 6. So here, there are 2 contacts that we have in client's organization. The client knows 2 people in organization ABC, so they get 1 point here, 1 point here. And then they've had 3 meetings in the last 6 months, which is brilliant. So they get 1 point here. And the contacts that they have, they're at senior level. And also the satisfaction has been amazing. So they get the maximum score of 6, right? So it all gets mapped out. And then you will also see, I have built in here, obviously what are the comments and action points. And then we are also trying to track how the account is growing. So 2018, what was the score? Like what was the revenue? 2019, what was the revenue? What's the target for 2020? What's the current? The current is being derived from the monthly performance of these accounts. Remember, these are your top 20% account contributing to 80% of your revenue. You better measure them at an individual level. Otherwise, aggregation at this point can really make you lose the finer details and make the right decisions for these accounts. So this is now giving you a good picture of saying how the performance of each account is and what is the client service score. What is my consolidated score? Now it becomes easier. Let me try to do it just with you right now. If I put in the filters already. So if I just select or say I deselect 6 and 5, right? So my worry points are actually these 2. Outside of these 2, so anything with a score of 1, 2, 3, 4 are like not strong relationships here clearly. So now you start analyzing this and saying, okay, what's going on? Let's look at this number 1, right? So when you look at this, you're like, okay, we know one person. They know just that one person in organization ABC. We've just had one meeting, and the person we know is middle management, and the score is kind of okay, but not amazing at 9 or 10. So what do? This is at 1. Okay, so maybe first of all, one more meeting needs to be lined up clearly. So everywhere where the meetings are not more than 2 or 2, I think the first action point here is there is a meeting that's required, whether it's Zoom meeting or face-to-face meeting. And then the other thing is saying, okay, how do we make sure that the client has more contacts with people in organization ABC? So is it that the next meeting, 2 or 3 people need to go for this meeting with some, obviously the right kind of context or reasoning, or maybe we need to do some kind of check-in or find a reason, the right reason to introduce more people from organization ABC to the client? Because as I said, more they know, the better it is. And obviously then here saying, okay, we just know one person in this client's business. Can we know more? Can we ask for more introductions, or can we proactively reach out to more people? So everything gives you a very clear indication where are the gaps. It's not always about doing more surveys or doing just more meetings. For me, column C and column D are absolutely essential. Column E ensures that there's no blind spot. There is a proper frequent meeting and communication happening. And column G is obviously more structure on top of more meetings in the last 6 months. And also just making sure that people are not generally feeling happy, saying, yeah, we are in touch. We just had meeting. Are you really meeting the right decision makers in the business? And obviously you will adapt it based on your business. In this case, this is the kind of description that was given, right? So senior HR or senior HR and L&D or procurement director. So I hope that gives you a sense of how doing this exercise will help you identify the gaps in client relationship and what exactly needs to be done. And remember, you can absolutely make it as a KPI, saying each and every account has to be at a score of 4 or 6, depending on what you create. And the person who's accountable is measuring that, is progressing that. And by the way, remember, it's not just a tick in the box exercise. My main focus, or your main focus, is not to just get score of 5 or 6 in this. Your main focus is that these accounts are active and they are growing, because that's what really is the true sign that the client is happy with what we are delivering, with what we are doing, and they're willing to trust us with more of their business. And that's what makes the difference at the end of the day. So I'll stop the share here. I hope you found that useful. And remember, just by having intentions, that doesn't really ensure progress. Intention has to translate into action. And I've given you a very simple template to work with. Make sure you adapt it for your organization. And actually, you know what? Most of the clients, when they do this exercise for the first time, it's like an eye-opening exercise. And don't worry, because even if you see red flags, that's a blessing. That's like, yeah, I can actually do something about it, can correct it before any negative outcome happens, which catches you by surprise. Because preemption is a world-class capability. And I hope this helps you with that. You take care, and I'll be in touch with you again very soon.